Welcome everyone. Today we will be practicing a shorter Vinyasa sequence. Today's class, it's going to be focused primarily on the hamstrings. And today's practice is inspired by something that I've recently been reflecting on within my own practice. And it's a theme that I continually learn again and again. And it's this practice of consistency. For me, in the physical practice, Hanumanasana and splits continue to be a very challenging physical expression within my body. And for those reasons, I very often will bypass the work that is required to find more ease within the shapes. It's something that I can avoid over the years because it's difficult. There's a lot of growth to be found there, and for that reason, sometimes I humanly resist it. And naturally tend to gravitate towards things that I perhaps am already good at or do not push me or challenge me in that way. So I'm currently here in Mexico, and I've been practicing this specific sequence every single day as a reminder to myself that consistency will always bring you to where you need to go. It's not so much about really putting in incredible hours and energy into one direction in order to make a shift. It's really choosing to show up in little deliberate ways with consistency that create those huge shifts. And so with that, let's jump right in. For today's class, I encourage you to grab 2 blocks. That said, no props are 100% necessary. You could use blocks to bring the ground a little bit closer to you in half or full splits. So with that, let's jump right in. We'll make our way into a child's pose. Any variation you choose. You can bring the knees wide enough so that your torso has the ability to rest between the thighs, or your knees could touch. Allow the forehead to soften down towards the earth. And begin to bring your awareness to the breath. See if you can begin to find an even rhythm of breath in and out the nose. Every breath cycle, it's a tool to cultivate more awareness within. Take in one big inhale through the nose. Exhale, big sigh, let it out the mouth. Gently make your way to a tabletop position, shifting your shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees, spreading the fingers wide. Bringing your fingers towards the outer edges of the mat, eyes of the elbows pointing towards one another. Press into the palms of the hands, protracting the shoulders, and then gently just begin to sway your shoulders from side to side. There's no exact science to this motion. Instead, just use these gentle movements to awaken curiosity, to explore what is perhaps unseen, unfelt. Eventually finding stillness, and then shifting your fingertips backwards towards the knees, wrist creases shine forward, and then gently you can shift your body weight forward and back. Staying with the breath, using the breath to bring your mind to this moment. So whenever the mind wanders, attaches to any given thought, invite the focus back to the rhythm of your breath. Bring your fingertips forward. 3 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, lower the belly down towards the ground. Spread through the sit bones, spread through the collarbones, lift your gaze. Exhale, navel towards the spine, chin to chest, round the back body. Twice more, just like that. Inhale, pull the center of the heart forward, draw your shoulder blades to touch. Exhale, round the back body. Last round, your breath guides. Inhale brings you back to neutral. Walk your palms 1 hand distance forward, curl your toes behind you, and glide the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Use your first few rounds of breath just to arrive into the shape. You can pedal the heels, you could sway the hips from side to side. Just notice what feels good. And eventually you'll find some stillness. Next inhalation, reach your right leg high, 3-legged dog. You can open up the hips, stacking the right hip above the left. You could bend your right leg or rotate the ankle. I often like to extend my right foot all the way out to the left as I try to square the shoulders, feeling a stretch in the right side body. Eventually squaring the hips, wrapping your outer right thigh downwards towards the ground. Big inhale. Exhale, gently step the right foot to the inside of the right hand, low lunge. Anchor your right hip crease back, left hip crease steers forward, and then soften your left knee down to the ground. Hug the navel up and in, and lift the torso, rise all the way up. We'll do a static hold for the first 30 seconds or so. See if you can sink into the hips, anchoring the right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. Engaging your left glute, hugging the navel up and in, getting taller through the crown of the head. You can rest your hands right above that right knee. Just a few moments here. A soft and steady point of focus with the eyes. Inhale, back away from sensation, back away from the lunge. And as you exhale, sink into the hips a little bit deeper as you engage your left glute. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, back away. Exhale to sink into the hips. Last time. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale to half split, straightening your right leg any amount. Here's where you could slide those 2 blocks underneath the hands. Extending through the ball of the right foot, curl the toes back in towards you. The right leg can bend any amount. Think about lengthening your belly button forward more so than trying to bring your forehead down towards your foot. Just a few moments here in stillness. How steady can the breath be? All right, now we'll begin to transition from low lunge, arms up high, to half splits. We'll flow through that motion. 3 rounds. Inhale, right knee bends right above the right ankle. Reach the arms upwards, low lunge. Exhale to half splits, lengthening the belly button forward. 2 more cycles of breath, your pace. Inhale back to low lunge. You can simply just lift the torso, no need to extend the arms. And then we'll bring our left shin to the right. So both hip bones should face forward. Now we're almost like in warrior two. Right knee tracks towards the right pinky toe. See if you can try to find neutrality in the spine. For most of us, that will feel like we have to gently tilt the tail forward, hug the navel up in it, and then you can either open the arms to a T, keep the hands on the hips or whatever feels most natural, and then you can sink into the hips. Once again, engage the glutes. Here, just for a few rounds of breath. You can really find your depth here. It's okay if the right knee goes beyond the right ankle. And then we'll pulse with the breath once again. Inhale, back away. Exhale to sink into the hips. Twice more, just like that. Move slow. And gently bring the right knee right above the right ankle. We'll swing our left shin towards the back of the mat. Plant the palms to frame your right foot. Curl your left toes behind you. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale to half pigeon pose. Bring your right knee forward towards your outer right wrist. And we're actually not going to be finding a static hold in this shape. Instead, we're going to lead with the belly button, lead with the forehead as you bring your forehead towards the ground. You could choose to bring blocks out in front of you. No need to touch the ground. So we'll be pulsing with the breath. Find a soft and steady point of focus with the eyes. Take in a big inhale, lengthen the heart, the belly button forward. Exhale, begin to tap your forehead towards the mat. We'll do that twice more. Next inhalation, you can rise all the way up. And then we'll roll to our right hip, moving towards deer pose. Now bring your right shin forward so it's parallel to the front edge of the mat. And then bring your left thigh forward so it's parallel to the front edge of the mat as well. And then you can rotate your heart center forward. And we're gonna do the same thing. You can bring your fingertips out to the side. We're gonna be tapping the forehead or in the direction of in front of the right shin. Again, you can bring props out in front of you. Take in a big inhale, find length. And as you exhale, leading with the belly button, soften down. Twice more, your pace. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then roll to the right hip so that you can extend your left shin in front of the right, Sukhasana. Here you could be elevating your hips so that they are higher than the knees. So we're making more of a square shape than what would be a normal cross-legged position. Take in a big inhale, find length. And as you exhale, soften forward any amount. Just a few breaths here. Next inhale, slowly rise all the way up. And then we'll come into a little squat, bringing the soles of the feet down towards the ground. And then plant your palms, step the feet back, downward facing dog. Full inhale through the nose. Exhale, big sigh, let it out the mouth. Inhale, left leg rises, three-legged dog. You can explore the shape. Any way curiosity inspires you to, invitation to bring your left heel as far as you can over to the right. As you square your left shoulder, the left armpit down towards the floor. Feel what you feel wherever you are. And now we'll square the hips, rotating your outer left thigh downwards towards the ground. Big inhale. Exhale, step the left foot to the inside of the left thumb. Low lunge. Soften your right knee down to the ground. Already feel that energetic pull between the inner thighs. Hug the navel up and in, and then begin to lift the torso, rise all the way up. Bring your hands to rest right above that left leg. Engage your right glute as you sink into the hips. Woo. Feel what you feel. Here for just a few rounds of breath. Inhale, back away from sensation, back away from the lunge. Exhale to sink into the hips a little bit deeper. Twice more, just like that. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale to half split, straightening your left leg any amount, extending through the ball of the left foot, drawing the toes back in towards you, and then lengthening the belly button forward. Stay with that even rhythm of breath in and out the nose. That's always the most interesting thing about any practice of presence. All right, now we'll flow with the breath between half lunge or low lunge and half splits. Inhale, left knee bends, right glute engages, arms high. Exhale, half splits, lead with the belly button. Twice more, just like that. Inhale to low lunge. And then we'll bring our right shin to the left side of the mat. And now we find the left knee bending right above the left ankle to start. Shoulders stack above the hips, almost like warrior two, but in this tabletop position. Sink into the hips, keep the right glute engaged. The chest is proud and lifted. Hands can come wherever feels most natural. Find your intelligent edge for a static hold. We'll be here for just a little while. Three pulses. As you inhale, back away from sensation. Exhale to sink into the hips a little bit deeper. Twice more. When you're ready, you'll rotate your right shin back. Plant the palms to frame your left foot. You can come high up onto the ball of the right foot. As you inhale to three-legged dog, left leg high up and back. Exhale to half pigeon pose, bringing your left shin forward towards your outer left wrist crease, wiggling that left shin forward any amount. You're on the meaty part of your right thigh. Bring your hands out in front of you for some pulses. Taking a big inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, lead the belly button forward. Twice more, just like that. Inhale, lift the torso, rise all the way up. And then you'll rotate to the left hip, bringing your left shin forward so that it's parallel to the top edge of the mat. You can wrap your right shin forward in front of that for Sukhasana. And the ankles and the knees can be any distance that they like. You're looking for your intelligent edge in the hips. Taking a big inhale. Ooh, actually, my friends, I'm so sorry. So before we get there, we're coming into deer pose. Sorry about that, y'all. So your left shin is forward to the top edge of the mat. Your right thigh is parallel to the front edge of the mat as well. You'll take your hands out in front of you or to the sides to prepare for those pulses. Always know you could stay as you are as well. Taking a big inhale. And as you exhale, leading with the belly button, pulse forward. Twice more, just like that, move slow. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then you'll roll to the left hip. Now, wrapping your right shin in front of that for Sukhasana. Taking a big inhale. And as you exhale, soften forward any amount. With an inhale, slowly rise all the way up. Once again, we're going to plant our feet. See if you can not use the hands as you come forward into a small little ball, little squat. And just take a moment and really feel here. This is one of those shapes that it's so small. Not much is going on, but there actually is a lot happening in the back line of the ankles. You can shift your weight forward. Just feel those sensations. And when you're ready, plant your palms, step the feet back, downward facing dog. Full inhale. Exhale, big sigh, let it out the mouth. And now we'll gently soften the knees down towards the ground, towards a tabletop position. You're welcome to turn off to the side so that the mat is a little bit wider. You could also fold the mat up so you can have an extra layer of cushion. We're going to be moving towards frog pose or tadpole pose. Tadpole pose is opening the knees really quite wide and then tilting forward so that you can begin to feel an opening in the inner hips. It might be quite deep with the knees out wide. You can choose to stay there, or you'll come into frog pose, which is opening the knees wide, and then bringing your ankles in the same line as the knees. Your toes point outwards. But the most important part here is you can either stay on the palms, you could soften onto the forearms. The most important part is to shift the hips back in space. Whew. Very intense wherever you are. Keep shifting the hips back. If you're in frog pose, we're here just a few rounds of breath. Maybe for our last few cycles of breath, you come into tiny pulses or little micro cat-cows. If you're in frog pose, you can gently shift your body weight forward so you can bring your toes to touch. Whew. And then really slowly, you can rise all the way up. You can use your hands to help bring the legs in towards one another. Very intense. Perhaps that shape isn't so intense for you. A quick rant as you close the eyes and simply come back to the breath. One of my favorite things about this practice is all of us gravitate towards different physical expressions, different practices, What is easy for me could be very challenging for you, and vice versa. What comes naturally and intuitively to you might be entirely foreign to me, and that's the beauty of it. For me, we just did a huge, huge challenge shape. Whenever you're ready, make your way back to downward facing dog. Last steps. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, big sigh, let it out the mouth. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the right foot to the inside of the right thumb, low lunge. Anchor your right hip back, left hip crease steers forward, hug the navel up and in. And then you can lift the torso, rise all the way up. Sink into the hips, engage your left glute. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale to half split, straightening your right leg, any amount, lengthening the belly button forward. You can choose to stay here, or this time around you can bring your right pinky toe towards the outer edge of your mat. So right pinky toe down towards the ground, working into the hip, the IT band. You could choose to stay exactly as you are right here, or you can keep the left hand as is. Reach your right arm upwards. You could also find this twist with bringing the right toes up towards the ceiling if that would better serve you. Take in one more full inhale. Exhale, soften the right hand down to the earth. And then for our last few rounds of breath, you can choose to stay right here. You can extend your right heel forward any amount. You could extend your left thigh back any amount. You might be on a really hard floor like me and it's not so comfortable, but you can make your way towards your expression of splits pose. Here just for a few breaths, stay with it. And then as you're ready, we're slowly going to meet back up in half splits. So take your time to get there. Use the props, use your hands. Gently rebend the right knee right above the right ankle. Plant the palms, engage your left leg. Step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Next inhalation, left leg rises, three-legged dog. Exhale to low lunge, stepping the left foot forward to the inside of the left thumb, softening the right knee down to the ground, hugging the navel up and in, and lifting the torso, rising all the way up, engaging the right glute as you sink into the hips. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale to half split, straightening your left leg any amount. You can choose to stay here, or you can bring your left pinky toe down towards the ground. You can choose to stay here, or add a twist. With an inhale, reach the left arm high. Lengthen the heart center forward. Taking a big inhale. Exhale gently, soften your left fingertips down to the earth. And then for our last few rounds of breath, you can stay as you are. You can extend your left heel forward, walk your right thigh back any amount. A few breaths at your edge. And then slowly make your way back to half splits. Bending your left leg, left knee right above the left ankle. Plant the palms. Engage your right leg behind you, lift it off of the mat. From the strength of the low belly, downward facing dog. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale with the sigh, let it out the mouth. And as you're ready, you can walk, step, or hop your feet all the way forward, lowering into a seat before eventually lowering all the way onto the belly, or rather, onto your back. And just for a moment, draw the knees inwards towards the chest. You can give yourself a gentle squeeze. You can sway a little bit from side to side. Eventually opening the arms wide, arms out to a T. Shift your hips 1 or 2 inches to the left. Keep the knees in close to the chest. As you lower the knees to the right, spinal twist. You can choose to keep the neck neutral, or you could be looking over either shoulder. Inhale, bring the knees back in towards the midline. Shift your hips 1 or 2 inches to the right. Keep the knees in close towards the chest. As you lower the knees to the left, spinal twist. You can keep the neck neutral, or you could look over either shoulder. Next inhale, gently draw your knees back inwards towards the midline. And then bring the soles of the feet to touch, knees out wide. Left hand to the heart, right hand to the low belly. Close the eyes. And just notice how you breathe. Gently draw the knees inwards towards the chest one last time before making your way to your final Shavasana. Extending your right foot to the right corner of the mat, left foot to the left corner of the mat, arms relaxed wide by the side bodies, palms face up. Taking up space. All the space that really is required for you to soften. There's no longer anything to do, there's nothing to change nor fix. For the next few minutes, you're here purely to receive. This is where I will leave you. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.